The St. Maria's hull gleamed like polished pearl against the backdrop of distant stars, its bold red crosses pulsing with a gentle light that served as a beacon of hope in the neutral zone between human and cracks in space. Inside the zero-gravity surgical bay, Dr. Sarah Chen's steady hands moved with practiced precision as she guided a reconstructive nanite swarm across her patient's crystalline exoskeleton. Remarkable, the young Kraxan warrior whispered, his multifaceted eyes tracking the shimmer of medical nanites as they repaired the complex lattice of his armor-like skin. Among my people, such damage would mean retirement from service. Sarah allowed herself a small smile as she adjusted the nanite configuration through her neural interface. Humanity has always believed that healing is just as important as any other technological advancement. Now, please hold still. This next part requires absolute precision. The surgical bay hummed with activity as her international team worked on other patients in the surrounding medical pods. Dr. Patel was treating a human merchant with plasma burns, while Dr. Rodriguez carefully reconstructed a Kraxan child's damaged sensory crystals. The St. Maria had earned its reputation by never turning away those in need, regardless of species or allegiance. Through the bay's observation window, the stars stretched into brilliant streaks as the ship maintained its patrol route along the border zones. Lieutenant Emma Hayes' voice came through the medical base comm system. Dr. Chen, we're picking up unusual stellar phenomena in Sector 7. Might want to stabilize any delicate procedures. Acknowledged, bridge. Sarah quickly secured the nanite containment field. The ship's gravity compensators smoothed out most of the turbulence, but she'd learned long ago that space had a way of surprising even the most advanced technology. As she completed the final stages of the crystalline reconstruction, her patient's exoskeleton began to regain its natural iridescent sheen. "There we are," she said, running a medical scanner over the repaired area. "The nanites have successfully integrated with your natural crystal matrix. You should regain full sensory capacity within the next 12 hours. The Kraxan warrior flexed his restored plating, mandibles clicking in their species' expression of joy. "You understand our biology so well. How is this possible?" The St. Maria has treated over 10,000 Kraxan patients in the past 5 years, Sarah explained, updating the medical logs through her neural link. "Each case teaches us something new. We believe that understanding leads to better healing." A soft chime interrupted their conversation. Priority message from the bridge. Sarah's neural interface displayed Lieutenant Hayes' concerned expression. "Doctor, we're receiving a distress signal from Colony 7 in Kraxan space. They're reporting symptoms consistent with an unknown pathogen, multiple casualties." Sarah didn't hesitate. "Alert the isolation ward to prepare for possible pandemic protocols. Have Dr. Patel and Dr. Rodriguez prep their teams for emergency deployment." She turned to her patient, who was already sitting up. "I'm afraid we'll have to cut your observation period short. Can you manage?" The warrior stood, his restored exoskeleton catching the light. "You would rush to aid a Kraxan colony so quickly." "The St. Maria doesn't see species or allegiances," Sarah replied, already reviewing the colony's preliminary medical data through her neural feed. "We see people who need help. That's all that matters." As she hurried toward the bridge, the ship's massive engines shifted tone, their quantum resonance adapting for the new course. The medical bay's observation window filled with the brilliant flash of a hyperspace transition, stars blurring into streams of light as the St. Maria raced to answer another call for help. Sarah Chen had no way of knowing that this simple act of compassion, this instinctive rush to aid others, would soon trigger events that would reshape the balance of power in known space. The St. Maria sailed on through the stellar night, its white hull and red crosses a testament to humanity's dedication to healing, unaware that it was about to become both a tragedy and a rallying cry that would echo across the galaxy. The St. Maria's medical readiness bay buzzed with activity as Dr. Sarah Chen reviewed the colony's transmitted medical data. The symptoms didn't align with any known Kraxan pathogens. Elevated crystal decay, systematic failure of their natural armor, and widespread nervous system disruption. Something about this outbreak felt wrong. Dr. Chen and Lieutenant Hayes called from her station. "We're picking up unusual energy readings from the colony's orbital space. They don't match standard cracks and signatures." Sarah frowned at the sensor displays. After 5 years in the neutral zones, she'd learned to trust Emma Hayes' instincts. "Show me the atmospheric data again." The neural interface projected a holographic overlay of the colony's biological readings. "These patterns, they're too uniform for a natural outbreak." The ship's assistant, Florence, highlighted several anomalies in the data stream. "Doctor, the radiation signatures suggest artificial acceleration of the pathogen's spread. This may be a manufactured crisis." Before Sarah could respond, proximity alerts blared through the bridge. 3 massive shapes shimmered into existence, their crimson hulls decorated with the distinctive black geometric patterns of the Vorkath strategic force. The massive warships moved to surround the hospital ship, their weapon ports already cycling open. Multiple targeting locks. Emma's hands flew across her console. "They're targeting our medical bays and life support systems. This isn't a random attack. They know exactly where to hit us." Sarah's mind raced. The St. Maria's minimal defensive shields wouldn't hold against a dedicated military assault. Emergency protocols now. Begin patient evacuation to the survival pods. She activated the ship-wide comm. "All medical staff, initiate emergency data backup. Download all research and patient records to secure storage." The first energy blast struck the St. Maria's port side, sending tremors through the hull. Warning lights cascaded across the bridge displays as systems began to fail. Through the neural interface, Sarah could see her medical teams rushing to protect their patients, moving those they could to safer sections of the ship. "They're specifically targeting our engines," Emma reported, her voice steady despite the chaos. "They want us to stay here and—" She paused, horror crossing her face. Multiple missiles launched. High-yield antimatter warheads. Sarah's fingers danced across her medical console one last time. "Florence, encrypt and transmit all our research data. Everything we've learned about cross-species medicine, every treatment protocol, every breakthrough. Send it to Earth Medical Command." Transmission initiated. Florence confirmed as another blast rocked the ship. 90 seconds to complete. Through the bridge viewport, Sarah watched the Vorkath ships maneuver with cold precision. They were taking their time, methodically destroying a vessel that had never carried a single weapon. Years of medical research, thousands of lives saved, countless bridges built between species. All of it meant nothing to them. Transmission at 60%. Florence updated. Hull breach on decks 3 through 7. Medical Bay 2 has been compromised. Sarah opened a channel to all frequencies. "This is Dr. Sarah Chen of the Earth Hospital Ship St. Maria. We are a neutral medical vessel. We have patients aboard from 12 different species. Please cease fire and allow us to evacuate." The only response was another barrage of energy weapons. Emergency force fields flickered and died as the ship's power grid began to collapse. "Transmission complete," Florence announced. "All medical data successfully sent." Sarah looked at her bridge crew. Humans who had dedicated their lives to healing others, now facing death with quiet dignity. She opened one final channel, this time directed solely at Earth Command. Her voice was calm, carrying not anger but resolution. "This is Dr. Sarah Chen of the St. Maria. We were attacked while responding to a distress call near Colony 7. Our attackers are Vorkath warships. They targeted a clearly marked hospital ship without warning or provocation. Remember why we heal. Remember why we—" The antimatter warheads detonated, and the St. Maria erupted in a brilliant cascade of light. In the silence that followed, the Vorkath ships disappeared back into the void, leaving only debris and a message that would soon echo across human space. They had attacked a hospital ship. Admiral Helena Martinez stood before the United Earth Council. her dress uniform adorned with commendations that spoke of 30 years defending human space. The chamber's curved walls displayed a real-time hologram of Earth's orbital defense network, thousands of satellites tracking every movement in the solar system. But today, all eyes focused on a different projection, the final moments of the Saint Maria. 2 hours ago, Martinez began, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. We received Dr. Chen's last transmission. The Saint Maria was responding to a distress call when 3 Vorkath warships attacked without warning or provocation. The hologram showed the hospital ship's final minutes. Several council members turned away as the antimatter warheads detonated, but Martinez kept watching. She owed the crew that much. 342 medical personnel, 117 patients from 12 different species. All lost. Martinez paused, letting the numbers sink in. But Dr. Chen's final act ensured their research survived. 5 years of breakthrough medical discoveries transmitted to Earth Medical Command moments before destruction. The Kraxan ambassador Varix stepped forward. His crystalline exoskeleton had been dulled to mourning colors. The Kraxan Empire shares your grief, Admiral. The Vorkath are extremists who speak for none but themselves. We offer our full military intelligence on their positions and capabilities. Martinez nodded in acknowledgement. The Vorkath believed attacking a hospital ship would drive our peoples apart. Instead, they've united us in ways they never imagined. The chamber's main display shifted to show a strategic overview of known space. Highlighted points marked confirmed Vorkath bases and suspected strongholds. The ambassador's intelligence was already being integrated into Earth's tactical networks. For the past decade, Martinez continued, Earth has maintained a defensive posture. We developed technologies we hoped never to use, weapons we kept in reserve because humanity chose to be better than our capacity for destruction. She straightened, her expression hardening. The Vorkath mistook that choice for weakness. The chamber's AI brought up detailed schematics of Earth's reserve fleet, ships that had been developed in secret, incorporating technologies that had only existed in theoretical papers. The council members leaned forward, many seeing these capabilities for the first time. I'm not here to ask for permission to retaliate, Martinez stated clearly. That decision was made the moment they targeted medical bays instead of weapon systems. I'm here to inform you of how we're going to respond. The holographic display shifted again, showing a massive vessel under construction in the orbital shipyards of Mars. Its design was unlike anything in known space, a hybrid of carrier, medical ship, and planetary assault vessel. The Hippocrates, Martinez explained, named for the father of medicine. It carries enough medical capacity to serve as a mobile hospital for an entire sector. It also houses our most advanced combat systems. The Vorkath attacked everything the Saint Maria stood for, so we're launching a ship that can both heal and defend. Council member Dr. Patel, head of Earth Medical Command, rose from his seat. Admiral, the Saint Maria's final transmission included treatment protocols for 12 different species. Dr. Chen's team had made breakthroughs we hadn't thought possible for decades. How do we honor that legacy? Martinez's expression softened slightly. By showing the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength isn't our capacity for retaliation, but our ability to combine protection with healing. Operation Nightingale will have 2 objectives: dismantling the Vorkath threat and providing medical aid to anyone affected by their actions. The council chamber fell silent as the implications settled in. Humanity was going to war not for conquest or revenge, but to defend the principle that medical ships should be sanctuaries among the stars. The Vorkath believed they were sending a message. Martinez concluded. They succeeded, but not the message they intended. They showed us that some principles are worth fighting for, and humanity will answer that message with everything we have. The Artemis shipyards stretched across Mars' orbit like a constellation of artificial stars. Within its sprawling network of construction bays, ships that had never seen combat emerged from their long slumber. Admiral Martinez watched from her temporary command center as maintenance drones swarmed around the supercarrier Retribution, its adaptive hull drinking in sunlight like liquid metal. Final diagnostics are complete on all primary systems, reported Captain Sarah Wong, the Retribution's commanding officer. Her holographic form stood beside Martinez's desk, reviewing deployment schedules. The quantum fold drives are operating beyond projected specifications. Whatever improvements the engineering teams made during dormancy, they work. Martinez nodded, studying the tactical display showing dozens of ships awakening. And the Hippocrates, ready for final integration. Wong's hologram gestured, bringing up a new overlay. Dr. Evans has the medical base fully equipped. We've incorporated every breakthrough from the St. Maria's final transmission. The ship can treat more patients than any 3 planetary hospitals combined. Through the reinforced windows, Martinez watched as the Hippocrates moved into position. Unlike the sleek, predatory lines of the Retribution, the medical carrier embodied a perfect balance of protection and healing. Its white hull bore the traditional Red Cross, but now that symbol was flanked by the most advanced point defense systems ever designed. Fleet commanders are reporting in, Wong announced. The Nightingale Squadron is forming up. One by one, holographic images of the fleet's ships appeared. The stealth destroyers Shadow Step and Silent Dawn, their dark matter cloaking systems, making them nearly invisible even at rest. The electronic warfare cruiser Binary Dawn, its sensor arrays capable of creating phantom fleets that could fool even the most sophisticated scanning systems. Each vessel represented technologies that humanity had developed but chosen to keep in reserve. Martinez opened a channel to the assembled fleet. This is Admiral Martinez. Today we launch Operation Nightingale. The Vorkath believe they struck a blow against humanity's greatest weakness, our dedication to healing others. They're about to learn it's our greatest strength. The Admiral's neural interface displayed status reports from each ship as she spoke. Green indicators lined up like stars coming into alignment. Earth developed these ships not because we wanted to wage war, but because we understood that protecting peace sometimes requires the capacity for decisive action. Today, we use that capacity. The Hippocrates moved to the center of the formation, its massive form casting shadows across the smaller vessels. Its design incorporated every lesson learned from the St. Maria's destruction, creating a vessel that could fulfill its humanitarian mission while defending itself against any threat. Your tactical systems are linking now, Martinez continued. The Retribution will coordinate our combat operations. The Hippocrates will direct search and rescue. We move as one fleet with 2 purposes, to protect those who heal and to demonstrate why humanity chose peace rather than having it forced upon us. Captain Wong's hologram nodded as the final systems synchronized. All ships report ready, Admiral. The Vorkath won't see us coming until we want them to. Martinez studied the tactical display one final time. The fleet's formation was perfect, each ship positioned to support the others, creating a web of overlapping capabilities that would reveal humanity's true technological level. Send word to Earth Command, she ordered. Operation Nightingale is commencing, and transmit one final message on all frequencies. She paused, remembering Dr. Chen's last words. Let every world know, we remember why we heal. We remember why we protect. And we're about to remind the galaxy why humanity's hospital ships don't need to carry weapons, because we have an entire fleet ready to defend them. As one, the assembled ships engaged their quantum fold drives. The space around the Artemis shipyards lit up like a new dawn as humanity's most advanced fleet began its first mission. They carried with them not just weapons of war, but the means to heal and protect, a testament to humanity's dual nature that the Vorkath had fatally underestimated. The Vorkath Defense Station hung in orbit around their primary supply depot, its gun ports tracking phantom sensor contacts that appeared and vanished like digital ghosts. Inside the station's command center, Supreme Commander Vexthal watched with growing unease as his tactical display filled with impossible readings. Multiple fleet signatures detected, His sensor officer reported, mandibles clicking with anxiety. 7 distinct battle groups approaching from everywhere. Energy signatures match known Earth vessels, but the numbers are impossible. Vexthal knew humanity had ships in reserve, but nothing suggested they possessed this kind of capability. Launch interceptors. All of them. Aboard the Binary Dawn, Lieutenant Commander Yuki Tanaka allowed herself a small smile as she watched her electronic warfare systems confuse the Vorkath defenses. The Phantom Fleet projections are holding Admiral. Their interceptors are splitting up to chase shadows. Admiral Martinez's hologram nodded from the Retribution's command deck. Begin Phase 2. Let's show them what precise targeting really means. The stealth destroyer Shadow Step decloaked for exactly 3 seconds, just long enough to launch a barrage of quantum-linked missiles. Each projectile split into dozens of smaller warheads, all sharing the same quantum state. When the Vorkath point defenses destroyed one, its linked partners adjusted their trajectories using the gathered data. Multiple impacts, reported Captain Wong from the Retribution. Their shield generators are offline. No structural damage to the station itself. This was humanity's new way of war, not to destroy, but to disable with surgical precision. The Shadow Step vanished again as its sister ship, Silent Dawn, emerged on the opposite side of the station. Its electromagnetic pulse cannons fired, temporarily disrupting the Vorkath's neural interfaces with their combat systems. Their command and control is degraded, Tanaka confirmed. Interceptors are returning to base, unable to distinguish real targets from our Phantom Fleet. The Hippocrates moved into position, its massive form finally revealing itself. The Vorkath commanders expected a vulnerable medical ship. Instead, they faced a vessel that embodied humanity's full technological capability. Its advanced point defense grid created a sphere of protection that smaller ships could operate within, turning the hospital ship into a mobile fortress. This is Admiral Helena Martinez to the Vorkath Defense Station. She broadcast on all frequencies. Your shields are down. Your fighters are neutralized. We could destroy this facility with a single command, but that's not why we're here. We want information about your bioweapon research facilities. Supreme Commander Vexthal watched in stunned silence as his supposedly superior forces were systematically disabled by an enemy that appeared to be everywhere and nowhere. Impossible. How did they develop such capabilities without our intelligence networks knowing? Signal from the station, Tanaka reported. They're powering down their remaining weapons. Supreme Commander Vexthal is requesting terms. Martinez exchanged looks with her bridge crew. This was just the first step, but it had gone exactly as planned. Informed the Hippocrates medical teams to prepare for boarding. Captain Wong, deploy your security forces to secure their data centers. Lieutenant Commander Tanaka, maintain the Phantom Fleet projections. Let any watching Vorkath ships think we have an armada here. The Earth fleet moved with practiced precision, each ship performing its role in a carefully orchestrated dance of technology and tactics. As medical teams from the Hippocrates treated injured Vorkath crew members, technical specialists downloaded the station's database. Admiral Wong called, "We found something in their files. The attack on the St. Maria. It wasn't just about destroying a hospital ship. They're testing some kind of engineered pathogen, something that affects multiple species." The distress call was a lure. Martinez's expression hardened. Alert all ships. This just became a rescue mission, as well as a military operation. The Vorkath aren't just attacking medical ships, they're developing weapons to make those ships necessary. The first battle of Operation Nightingale had ended without a single life lost on either side. But as the Earth fleet secured their first victory, they realized this campaign was about to become far more complex than anyone had imagined. Dr. Maya Evans stood in the Hippocrates primary laboratory, her neural interface projecting a holographic display of test results from the captured Vorkath research data. Each new revelation made her blood run colder. Behind her, Admiral Martinez and Captain Wong watched as she compiled her findings. They engineered it to target crystalline biological structures first, Maya explained, highlighting a molecular simulation. That's why they started with cracks in test subjects. But it adapts, learns from each species it encounters. The St. Maria wasn't just a target. They wanted to study how it would affect multiple species in a contained environment. Martinez stepped closer to the display, her expression grim. How many infected colonies are we looking at? At least 7 that we know of. Maya brought up a star chart marked with red indicators. They're using their own people as test subjects. The colonial populations don't even know they're part of an experiment. The Admiral's neural interface chimed with an urgent update from the Retribution's sensor array. Multiple distress signals detected, reported Lieutenant Commander Tanaka's hologram as it materialized. They're coming from Colony 7, where the St. Maria was headed. Martinez didn't hesitate. Dr. Evans, what do you need? Everything, Maya replied, already mobilizing her medical teams. And everyone. This isn't just about treating the infected. We need to contain the pathogen before it mutates further. The Hippocrates can handle 3 colonies at most, even with our advanced facilities. Captain Wong stepped forward, her tactical mind already formulating solutions. We can convert the cargo bays on our support ships into temporary medical facilities. The Retribution's environmental systems can be adapted for quarantine protocols. Do it, Martinez ordered. Lieutenant Commander Tanaka, maintain our Phantom Fleet projections around key colonies. The Vorkath might try to eliminate evidence of their experiments. She paused, considering their resources. Captain Wong, take half the combat fleet and continue pursuing their leadership. They don't get to hide while we clean up their mess. The Hippocrates medical bays transformed into a hive of activity. Dr. Evans' teams donned advanced containment suits, preparing for deployment. The ship's AI coordinated with its counterparts across the fleet, converting spare spaces into treatment centers. Approaching Colony 7, announced the helm officer. Population 90,000. Multiple species. Infection rate estimated at 60% and climbing. Through the bridge viewport, they could see the colony's sprawling habitat domes. Emergency beacons pulsed weekly, their pattern matching the one that had lured the St. Maria to its doom. But this time, humanity arrived with both the will and the means to help. Launch medical shuttles, Martinez commanded. Priority to critical cases and containment measures. Dr. Evans, you have full authority to requisition any resources you need. Maya nodded, already heading toward the deployment bay. The St. Maria's research data is proving invaluable. Dr. Chen's final transmission included breakthrough treatments we can adapt to fight this. The next hours passed in a blur of coordinated action. Medical teams descended on the colony, while engineering crews established containment fields. The Hippocrates advanced facilities filled with patients as Dr. Evans' team worked to understand and counter the engineered pathogen. Admiral, Maya called from her laboratory several hours later. We found something. The virus isn't just weapons research, it's targeted terraform engineering. They're trying to force biological adaptation on a massive scale. Martinez studied the new data through her neural interface. Explain. They want to remake entire populations to suit their idea of perfection. The infections, the deaths, they're just seeing which species can survive the process. Maya's voice shook with controlled anger. The St. Maria's mission of healing multiple species threatened their entire plan. The Admiral straightened, decision made. Send everything we found to Earth Command and the Kraxan Empire. The Vorkath wanted to reshape the galaxy through disease and death. We'll show them a better way, by saving everyone they tried to transform. As the Hippocrates continued its work, more ships arrived. Medical vessels from Earth, Kraxan hospital ships, and aid craft from a dozen allied worlds. Humanity's response to atrocity wasn't revenge, but an unprecedented mobilization of healing and hope. The Vorkath homeworld hung against the backdrop of its crimson nebula, surrounded by the most sophisticated planetary defense network ever constructed. Thousands of automated platforms created an interlocking web of energy fields and weapons coverage. Behind this barrier, the Vorkath High Command watched the approach of the Earth fleet with supreme confidence. "Let them come," High Commander Zexkor declared from his fortress command center. "Their primitive vessels will never penetrate our defensive grid. Even their new medical carrier will burn." Admiral Martinez stood on the Retribution's bridge, watching tactical displays as the final pieces of her plan fell into place. The Binary Dawn's Phantom Fleet projections had kept the Vorkath's attention divided for days, while stealth ships mapped every detail of their defenses. "All ships in position," Captain Wong reported. "The Hippocrates is ready." Martinez nodded, opening a channel to the fleet. "Operation Nightingale has shown us the depth of Vorkath cruelty. They attacked a hospital ship. They tested bioweapons on their own people. Now they hide behind automated defenses, thinking technology alone makes them strong." She paused, watching status indicators align. "Show them what Earth's technology can really do." The Hippocrates moved to the center of the formation, its white hull gleaming. The massive medical carrier had been modified during their campaign, each encounter teaching them new ways to combine healing with protection. As the ship approached the defense grid, its true nature was finally revealed. Quantum field generators activated, creating a bubble of altered spacetime around the fleet. The Vorkath watched in disbelief as their energy weapons dispersed harmlessly, their targeting systems unable to lock onto ships that existed partially out of phase with normal space. "Impossible," Zexkor whispered. "Their medical ship is generating defensive fields beyond anything in our database." "That's because we built it to defend life, not take it," Martinez transmitted on all frequencies. "Everything the Saint Maria taught us about preserving life, we apply to protection. You never understood that healing and defense are two sides of the same coin." The Hippocrates extended its quantum field as Earth's destroyers moved into attack position. Each ship now operated within a pocket of protected spacetime, immune to the Vorkath's most powerful weapons. Silent Dawn and Shadowstep emerged from Cloak, their precision strikes dismantling the defense grid piece by piece. "Their defensive platforms are adapting," reported Lieutenant Commander Tanaka. "But they can't adapt to what they can't properly detect. Our Phantom Fleet projections are causing their targeting systems to cascade into confusion." Inside his fortress, Zexkor watched his impenetrable defenses crumble. "Launch everything. Every ship, every weapon. They cannot defend against all of them." "Sir," his tactical officer interrupted, "we're detecting massive energy signatures from their fleet. Something's happening to their medical carrier." The Hippocrates hull began to glow with accumulated energy. Plates shifted, revealing systems that had remained hidden throughout the campaign. This was humanity's ultimate demonstration of their philosophy, a ship that could heal thousands, protect an entire fleet, and, if necessary, end a war without taking a single life. "Target their weapons only," Martinez ordered. "Show them the precision they lack." A pulse of concentrated quantum energy erupted from the Hippocrates, rippling through the Vorkath defense grid. When it passed, every weapon in the system went dead, locked in a state of quantum uncertainty. The mighty fortress of the High Command found itself completely defenseless, yet its life support and civilian systems remained untouched. "Your bioweapons are contained," Martinez transmitted. "Your defenses are neutralized, but your hospitals still function. Your civilian infrastructure remains intact. This is how humanity wages war, with the precision you never bothered to develop." Dr. Maya Evans' voice came over the command channel. "Admiral, we're detecting signs of their bioweapon research in the fortress. They've been experimenting on their own leadership caste." Martinez's expression hardened. "Prepare medical teams for emergency deployment." It seems the architects of this weapon became its final test subjects. The Earth fleet moved into position around the Vorkath homeworld, not as conquerors, but as a force bringing both justice and healing to those who had rejected both. 1 month after the fall of the Vorkath fortress, the Hippocrates hovered in high orbit above their homeworld. Its medical bays, once prepared for war, now served their original purpose. Dr. Maya Evans walked through the recovery ward, checking on patients from a dozen different species, including the Vorkath themselves. The latest test results are encouraging, she reported to Admiral Martinez, who walked beside her. The bioweapon's effects are reversing in 90% of cases. Even the leadership caste is showing signs of recovery. They paused at a viewport overlooking the planet. Construction vessels from Earth and the Kraxan Empire worked together, rebuilding what the conflict had damaged. But they were doing more than just repairing. They were transforming military installations into medical facilities. The St. Maria would have been proud of this, Martinez said softly. We didn't just win a war. We're changing how an entire species thinks about healing. Through her neural interface, Maya brought up the latest data from the planetary recovery effort. The Vorkath scientists who developed the bioweapon, they've been especially helpful in creating the cure. It seems seeing their own leaders affected changed something in them. Speaking of change, Martinez's interface displayed an incoming priority message from Earth Command. The Healing Star Protocol has been ratified. Every spacefaring species has signed, even the reformed Vorkath government. The protocol was humanity's response to the St. Maria's destruction, a new interstellar law that not only protected medical ships but required all advanced species to contribute to a shared network of emergency response vessels. The Hippocrates would become the template for a new class of ships that could defend themselves while carrying out their humanitarian mission. In the diplomatic wing of the Hippocrates, representatives from 20 different worlds gathered to discuss the future. The Kraxan ambassador Varix, his crystalline exoskeleton now bearing the bright colors of hope, addressed the assembly. The Vorkath believed they could force the galaxy to evolve through fear and disease. He clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. Instead, they caused us to evolve through cooperation and healing. Earth showed us a better path. Captain Wong entered the ward, her uniform now bearing the new insignia of the Interstellar Medical Corps, a combination of Earth's caduceus and symbols from a dozen alien healing traditions. Admiral, the first graduates of the Joint Medical Training Program are ready. We have teams from 8 species prepared to staff the new hospital ships. Martinez smiled, remembering Dr. Chen's last words. Remember why we heal, she said quietly. She couldn't have known how far that message would reach. The Admiral's neural interface chimed with updates from across the sector. The Binary Dawn was escorting the first Kraxan-built medical carrier to its patrol route. The Shadow Step and Silent Dawn had been refitted as rapid-response medical transports, their stealth systems now used to reach crisis zones without alerting hostile forces. Doctor, a young Vorkath medical student approached Maya, her posture showing the respect their species now held for human healers. The latest batch of nanic treatments has been synthesized. We're ready to begin the final phase of planetary decontamination. Maya nodded approvingly. The same Vorkath drive for perfection that had created weapons was being redirected toward healing. Their exceptional minds, once focused on destruction, now worked to advance medical science. As the day cycle ended, Admiral Martinez stood on the Hippocrates Bridge, watching the stars. The ship's quantum fields rippled softly, not in defense, but to maintain the specialized healing environments needed by different species. The vessel that had helped end a war now served as a symbol of peace. Send word to the fleet, she ordered. Operation Nightingale is officially complete, but our real mission, the one the St. Maria started, is just beginning. We remember why we heal. And now, the whole galaxy will remember with us. In the depths of space, new hospital ships set out on their patrols, their hulls bearing the marks of many worlds but sharing the same purpose. They carry with them the legacy of a single Earth vessel that had dared to heal anyone in need, and the response of a human fleet that had shown the galaxy how to defend that noble cause.